Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and this is our tier list of the Backlash from yesterday. Yeah, it'll be yesterday by the time I upload this. Saturday was Backlash over in France, and just straight off the bat, that crowd was absolutely amazing. It's probably like the best crowd I've ever seen at a premium live event, or even I mean, honestly, even like just going to my like wrestling by myself, or not by myself, but like going to matches and stuff, because like you feel like it's louder there. But man, that crowd was amazing. I definitely think France has to be back on the list. Like Backlash should just be a France fan at this point. Like if that's going to be the case every single time, it's just that's what needs to be noted about this. So yeah, the matches all together as a whole, I think Backlash was phenomenal to me. I feel like there was some that were definitely weaker than others, but I think overall it was a nice little package of matches. I definitely think 5 matches kind of felt like right. Like I think last year was also 5, might have been 6, and just I don't know, everything felt right with it. I don't feel like they could have really added anything too crazy, and I would have been like, oh, this is amazing. I mean, it felt like everything was kind of just perfect on that front with like the titles and stuff. We had some good title matches, and then the non-title match was phenomenal in itself. So let's just start with that. So we had the Bloodline 2.0. I've been calling them like because like you call them original Bloodline, so I've been calling them the extra crispy. Like because of fried chicken. I don't know. It might not sound that good. It's kind of an inside joke, I guess, with some of the people I've talked to. It sounds better when I don't explain it. But yeah, the Kevin Owens versus with Randy Orton against the Bloodline. Overall, the match ended up being really phenomenal because they started it off like just having a brawl, and then they changed into a street fight, which was perfect for what they needed to. I think that little extra bit of craziness in the beginning really showed off. There was a lot of good spots here. A lot of people taking some huge bumps. The freaking Tama Tonga taking all of those kendo shots to the back with all those welts and stuff going up was crazy for his first match here in the WWE. It was just phenomenal to see that he just took it in stride. I think the match was overall pretty good. I kind of had an assumption that we were going to get another Bloodline member. I was surprised it wasn't Jacob Fatu, but still a new Bloodline member joining our fame with him breaking up the tag at the very end, which I think overall was pretty good. My predictions video, I actually ended up being 5-0 on this one. So I thought a lot of this stuff was kind of like predictable with that, but that didn't really mess up too many of these matches. I think altogether, making it that street fight with all that stuff absolutely makes this into the very good. I think pretty much all it was kind of lacking was like I feel like there was some good portions of time where like Randy Orton was gone and like a lot of people were just kind of gone, and then like I just feel like that could have definitely been a little bit better. But I mean, that's such a small nitpick. But I think the legendary ones are ones matches that like you just think about nonstop, and the very good is like this was serviceable. This is believes on this show, like belongs on the show. And yeah, this definitely did. This was a perfect match. Being the only non-title match, I think the stakes were still as high, and showed off what this new bloodline is going to be all about. And I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen. Next up, we had the triple threat for the women's championship with Bailey, Naomi, and Tiffany Stratton. I think Tiffany Stratton looked absolutely amazing in this match. I think Naomi and Bailey, kind of showed their own, but like Tiffany just stole the show. I think Tiffany, to this point right now, is my number one person thinking that needs to win the Money in the Bank. I think with her and a pink Money in the Bank briefcase can be absolutely amazing. I'm kind of completely sold on that idea until somebody else says something differently, but I highly doubt it's going to be anytime soon. Um, the match itself, I think altogether was pretty good. I think when you have a triple threat match, you can kind of suffer from having like long periods of time where it's like one person's missing and like it's just kind of rotating and some of the spots, but they actually really kind of put it together to have some really camaraderie of like having everybody involved in whatever they were doing. I don't know. I felt like Bailey definitely seemed the weaker out of the three. I think overall her title reign so far is just a little bit of backseat to everybody else. Like she's obviously the champion, but like they haven't really given her that like dominating performance at all. And I kind of feel like that was here. I feel like everybody else kind of won, and the ending was just a little abrupt. It was just like a roll up, and then it was like, okay, it's done. And I mean, I guess that was like kind of more shocking because we didn't expect the match to end that way. But Overall, it was a good match. I think it definitely worked here. It was Bailey's first title defense. I think, they didn't get a big chance to set up a big rivalry or anything. I kind of preferred to, if, like, they would have just ran back another Io Sky versus her match. I think that would have been a little bit better for a Backlash, and then kind of built this up for the either the premium live event afterwards or the one after that. So that would have been my preference, but it's such a small nitpicky thing, so nothing too crazy. Next up, we have Jay versus Damian Priest. Uh, the crowd absolutely was over with Jay. I was just kind of floored with how like they were just every little bit he was doing just made him great, and I think that was awesome. Like I just think that was the perfect match for his big another title match. I mean, you got to think Jay's been about alone for like his solo run so far for a year now, and he's had multiple world heavyweight championship matches. He's had a WWE championship match. He's had the tag team titles with a different partner than Jimmy. Like he's had a solid year on his solo run, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited what they're gonna do. They protected him with having Judgment Day, causing him the match. Overall, I was feeling it. The match itself felt a little clunky to a certain extent. I think it's just because of like the two guys involved. I desperately think I've been wanting to do a video like this, and we'll have to maybe even put in the comments right now if there's anybody you would like to see or like have me talk about. But Jay needs a new finisher. Like I feel like the spear is serviceable as like kind of like a good takedown. His Uso splash is great, but like him with the super kicks so overpowered. Like he's kicking him like 15 times and like nothing's really happening. And I feel like they definitely could he could use just something in between. I don't even know if it would necessarily be his finisher, but like a special, just something that Jay like the Yetasaurus Rex or some shit. I don't know. But I think overall, the match was good. Definitely think that like the ending with the Judgment Day coming and working to help Damien will further the story of them breaking up and all that type of stuff. So I think it was serviceable. I think it was a good first title defense for Damien. I think both of them just being like on their first title, so it takes some time. Next up, we get the tag team match. There was amazing spots in this match, and there was amazing blunders in this match. Um, I personally love Asuka, and I love the Kabuki Warriors. So I was really wanting to see them win. No chance in hell they were going to win, but I went into it just having a little bit of hope. And there was just a lot of like weird stuff that happened with like tags being missed. Like it could have been the ref's fault, could have been Kyrie's fault on that one, but it was just kind of weird. And then like it fell apart after that. It just felt like people were getting tagged weird, and like the ref didn't know exactly what was going on. And the finish, like the absolute amazing jaded that Jade Cargill did was kind of just ruined because it wasn't the finisher. They should have just made her the legal woman, and she would have been able to just finish her off that way. I would have been completely on board. But then it just kind of felt weird to have Bianca pin Asuka on there. I feel like the pin should have gone the other way. Overall, I didn't really quite enjoy it. I felt like we really did see a lot of mess ups on Jade. She felt very exposed in that, which she's new. Like obviously she was in AEW, but she's still overall kind of new. So yeah, it's gonna happen like that. Next up, we have AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes, and then for a first title defense, I think it's one of the best I've seen. I think Cody and AJ were the perfect combination for this. I think they had a little bit of history, a little bit of like inside and outside of just like knowing each other throughout the years, both being Georgia boys. I think all those kind of small things can add up to making a pretty good match. Overall, I feel like with like kind of the way that their styles are, it can kind of look like it dragged on a little bit in certain spots, but I think overall, like for a first title defense, I think it was great. I personally think it was one of my favorite matches of the night. It was back and forth, and they made AJ Styles, look pretty phenomenal out there to at least be like, is there a possibility that could something happen? I mean, we all know there wasn't, but like, at least they made him look like he could. Overall, I do think I definitely would say it's one of my favorite matches at night. I'm trying to think if I had to pick where I'd put it, like my favorite, because I personally just enjoyed the street fight for a street fight. I think some of that just like watching something crazy happen and all that crazy spots. But yeah, I think overall, Cody and AJ will definitely be in the very good. I do think those were the two best matches. I couldn't really pick on which one I would want. I just like, it was Cody's first defense, so like it's the first of many, and I think it was a really good showing. Tell me how you guys thought about Backlash. I'm also doing another video. Probably will come out Tuesday or Monday. I watched Backlash from 2022, and yeah, if you, I'm gonna rank those matches, and you guys can tell me if you guys want me to do more of those old ones. I don't really know. I watched pretty much everything from the last year, and I have things up on the YouTube of reviews of the last year, but the years before, and like there's a lot of gaps, so I could always do some old stuff, and we could reminisce about old backlashes or old premium live events. But until next time, it's Japan. Bye, guys.